how's it going, guys? My name is Zach with the Movie Castle, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Living Corpse Annual featuring special guest stars Cassie and Vlad from Hack Slash. This is collected in the third Hack Slash Omnibus, and basically Omnibus 3 will collect the second half of the original Devil's Due series and then give us two special crossover issues, the first with Halloween Man and now one with Living Corpse. And I think both these were technically part of the other series and not Hack Slash, like this is the Living Corpse Annual after all. But I'm glad they collected here. I like it to be easier to find and get all the Hack Slash stuff in one place, so glad that they threw this in. The story itself is one of those where it's fun enough, but doesn't have a ton going on for it. It's a fun little go in, have a wacky ride, come out type story, but it's not super deep or super special. But if you want a fun little ride, you know the drill. Two different sets of heroes are going to be in the same book. They're going to fight each other, of course, because they always have to. Tell a few jokes, do a few gags, and then have a relatively creative enemy. It's the Jersey Devil this time around, so that's cool to see that character. But there's something up with it, something's not quite right, and that will inevitably turn on its head, and when you see what they really have to fight, it's something big and over the top, and pretty creative. So, not the biggest, most involved story, nothing super important, but if you want to see heroes team up and fight something wacky, this is a fun enough little story. I will say, because this is part of Living Corpse, this was made by the Living Corpse team and not the Hack Slash team, and I don't know, Tim Seeley really writes these characters pretty much better than anyone, and you do kind of note when someone else is writing them. You know, Cassie's usually a little bit too angry and Vlad's usually a little dumber than he normally is. They don't quite feel 100% right, but you know, it's fine. The much bigger and much more noticeable thing is the Living Corpse artwork, which is very cartoony and over the top, and again, it's not bad if that's what you want, and in the world of Living Corpse, you're probably used to it by now. But when you see the Hack Slash characters, and when you've been reading through the Hack Slash Omnibus, it is a little bit jarring, but again, just know it's coming up and know that it's technically a different book, and I think we can get through that. So overall, not the best, most important thing ever, but a fun little ride with a few little moments, and overall, not bad, just not super, you know, stellar or anything. I think I like the Halloween Man crossover a lot better than this, but hey, fun little ride, who cares? I guess in order to analyze it further, let's switch to the close-up camera. I'll show you guys some of the story and some of the art. I'll be avoiding major spoilers, so I'll try not to go too far towards the end. But without further ado, let's switch to the close-up camera. Alright, here we are inside the castle, taking a closer look at the Living Corpse Annual. Once again, this is in Hack Slash Omnibus 3. And let's bring this closer to the camera. Both the crossovers are at the bottom after the main series, and we get to see that this is written by Ken Haeser, who also did the art with Hasson. Flip it to the cover page, and we get to see this cool cover by Hasson and Ken Haeser. And we get Vlad there fighting the Living Corpse, and Cassie's kind of posing at the bottom. You can note that in this one issue, I don't know if she has it any other time, she actually has a barbed wire bat instead of a nail bat, which is kind of strange. And yeah, the cover does say suck it instead of kiss it, but in the issue itself, it does say kiss it on it. I don't know why we have this weird alternate bat, but okay, whatever. We get to see the guest starring Hack Slash and the Zenescope comic. They actually left the price on it, which is a little weird. But yeah, Zenescope did Living Corpse. I think they also did the Wonderland series and the Zombies vs. Cheerleaders, and I think we have a Zombies vs. Cheerleaders coming up, a crossover. But anyway, we get the living corpse doing kind of the talking in these little bubbles here, kind of hosting what's going on, and we get to see the Jersey Devil scaring this couple who's been making out. And yeah, this is one of those comics where things like a little bit of hair will provide just enough censorship, but as they run away, they bump into the living corpse. He holds off the Jersey Devil and manages to simply yell at it and tell it to not be mean and not mess with people. Seems that somehow the Jersey Devil is actually kind of a pushover, and we get a bunch of the living corpse being super gruff. We get to see Cassie there in the van, and she's got a map with all the sightings of the Jersey Devil. Looks like she's going to be hunting this guy that the corpse just put in his place. The couple runs up to her, and they tell their story, which will send Cassie and Vlad on their way. And it looks like when they see Vlad, they're going to be a little scared by him as well. Going into the woods, Cassie explains the legend of the Jersey Devil, how there was a witch who had 13 sons with the devil himself, and the Jersey Devil was the 13th son. Now, we get to see they find a mysterious cabin in the middle of the woods, and Cassie correctly deduces that that's where the Jersey Devil probably lives. Some really good expressive artwork there. However, yeah, they take the Jersey Devil on pretty easily. Like I said, there's something a little strange with the Jersey Devil this time around, and whenever you're winning the fight by too wide a margin, you gotta wonder what trick they have up their sleeves. And I won't go too far towards the end of the comic. I will say there's a pretty cool fight sequence with Vlad and the corpse, and we also get a fun little twist. Again, I won't say what, but you know there's going to be something up with the villain. And overall, this is a fun little story. Like I said, there's not incredibly much going on. We get two heroes meeting each other, we get some humor, and we get some fun fight sequences. Not super deep, but it is kind of interesting, and I had a bit of fun with it. So, not a standout or anything, but a fun little read, and I can say, check it out. Anyway, to everyone who's watched so far, thank you for watching. To everyone who's liked and subscribed, thank you. You really are helping the channel out. I'll leave a relevant playlist on the bottom. This should be my hack/slash playlist, where you can see my reviews for several of the past entries in this series. Anyway, have a good day. I'll see you guys again very, very soon. Relevant playlist on the bottom. Have a good day now.